Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining. If you are going to write the International Second Language Proficiency Rating exam, then you need this lecture because I'm going to tell you secrets, 6 of them, secrets that or tricks that you need to use to pass your listening part. Obviously, there will be the listening, there will be speaking, writing, but and reading. I'm just focusing in this lesson on listening. What tactics should you use? Before I talk about that, let me tell you, firstly, please subscribe to my channel. Secondly, the exam is in such a way that you listen to an audio and then the examiner asks you questions, then you answer those questions. So you do not read questions and answer by writing responses. No, you respond by talking back to the examiner who is going to ask you questions. So it's fairly simple, and it's better because you say what you have heard. If you didn't hear anything, it's not fairly better, really, because it's like you can assess yourself. Like the examiner will be looking into your eyes, listening to you, and if you didn't hear anything, then you know you didn't hear anything. It's a very good and fair exam, honestly. So in this case, what you are going to do, or what you need to understand firstly, is that there is a time to prepare for listening, and there is a time to write, to actually participate in the exam, do the exam. When you go to write the exam, you are going to read a passage and talk. So what I'm going to share here firstly is, in general, how should you prepare for any kind of listening test, whether it be IELTS, International Second Language Proficiency Rating test, or any other situations that requires you to listen and respond. The first thing that you need to do is you need to understand the listening task and anticipate content. You need to know what you expected. If you are writing IELTS, know what is it that you are expected. Anticipate what is the content. So in this case, usually the content will be around, if you are doing it for teacher registration, it will be around the school environment. Either you listen to a student, maybe a kind child speaking, or a high school student speaking, or teachers speaking. So it could be picked from that environment. You need to understand. So for teacher registration, you just know that it will come from there. And then when you understand that it will be about or around the educational context, then you need to know, when you read a passage, what is the speaker's purpose? Why are they saying this? And what information do I need to answer? So I'll give you some information. If there are names, if there are figures, if there are definitions, if there are examples, those you need to listen and jot notes. Okay, you need to jot notes. If there are names, statistical figures like years and data and all that, write them down, because guess what? I was asked to give the name of the girl who was speaking, how much she had raised, because she was talking about raising funds for a particular goal. And she mentioned the figures and she mentioned her name. So I had to write down those. And guess what? I was asked, what was the name? How much did she raise? Why was she fundraising? So purpose, I talked about knowing the purpose. Why was she fundraising? You listen and write all those details in your notes. Number 2, adopt a structured framework. For example, you can adopt the Cornell method. Now, you're not going to do this in the exam. I'll tell you what to do in the exam, but this is very important for you to practice. The Cornell method is where you have a cue on one hand, on the other hand, you have got notes. For example, you can have questions, and then you have got notes which are based on university lecturers, mixed economy benefits, and stuff like that. Now, I'm not going to go into details on this point. Go to the description. read an article which gives all the examples that you need to know about this method, but also that is going to help you, okay? Read. Number 3, develop a personal shorthand and symbol system. I think if you are in uni, you need to know how to write. For example, government, I just write GOV. Example, obviously, is EG. Information is info. Increase, arrow up. Decrease, arrow down, you know. Because you just write COZ, cause, you know. Develop that. It's very important. So again, you're not going to develop that system in the exam. You need to start developing it now. So how do you do that? Go to ABC radio, go to ABC podcasts and listen and jot notes, and then ask yourself questions from that passage. Okay? Or you can join my mentorship program, which will start at the end of this month. So if you are watching this video in July, at the end of the month, I'm starting a mentorship program where I'm going to help you. I can check your work. Okay? But if you watch this video after July, you can still join because I've got recorded lessons and tasks there in the mentorship program, so you can do those tasks. I'll still receive them and help you. Okay, that's number 3. Sorry, I digress to talk about my mentorship program. Let's talk about number 4. Embrace video organizers. You know, video organizers are things like T-charts or Venn diagrams and tables. When you are listening, you can say, okay, this side they're talking about advantages, so you can draw a line. On this side, advantages. On this side, disadvantages. Or you can draw a, diagram, whatever you want. But again, you cannot use this system in the exam because you'll be under intense pressure. This is for you to practice how to take notes before the exam, okay? Then the next one is listen for signaling language and emphasis. If somebody says, firstly, oh my God, you need to note whatever comes. Secondly, note whatever comes, because those are the emphatic areas of speaking. You can also, watch for transition words like in contrast, or words like examples to show examples. Remember at the beginning of this, I mentioned that write down names, figures, examples, and definitions. All those, write them in your notes. What is not acceptable is for you to be responding by looking back at the passage that you were given to read. Why are you looking at that? Because the testing is really your understanding, not your reading again of the passage, okay? That's what you should not do. So when you take notes of all these things, make sure you include the examples that I'm giving you. Number 6, which is actually the last one. Post listening, review, and organize recall. Make sure immediately after each audio prompt that you try to test yourself with, resist the urge to dive straight into answering questions. Make sure you look at your notes and make sure it makes sense to you. So in the exam, you can actually, the examiner will ask you if you are ready. Get 30 seconds just to look at your notes, because guess what? I forgot the name of the girl, which I wrote on the paper. And when she asked me, I froze because I had forgotten that I had written. So just look back, 30 seconds, look back at the notes, remember the names. Now, even as you answer the questions, I'll keep repeating this. You can glance at your notes. Now, here is where I tell you what you should do in the exam. Exactly what you should do in the exam. If you're under pressure, which you're going to be under pressure. Firstly, capture core ideas and keywords. Just capture core ideas and keywords. Don't be very specific with your notes. Secondly, signal words will guide your notes. So use signal words. Look at the signal words used. And signal words could be listen to things like firstly, however, importantly, for example, in conclusion. Those where you hear things like that, make sure you jot down. Firstly, secondly, in conclusion, for example, jot down whatever they say after that, or whatever the person will be listening to say after that. Number 3, Maintain a simple one column format. Do not write everywhere. Go down, so that even when you begin to speak, you're going to go there. Do not write here, then you write there, then you're not going to find those notes when you're under pressure speaking to someone. Because let me tell you what's going to happen in the exam. You are going to feel bad looking at the notes because you know you are being examined. And if you know you are being examined, you don't want to make a mistake. It is the fear of making a mistake that makes people forget even things that they have written. So when you write in single column, write from the top. As you begin to listen, keep going down. Keep going down, keep going down. Do not write here, write there. You write there, you crisscrossing notes here and there, like, no. Keep going down, 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 down. So that even when you look for, and the examiner, in most cases, will ask you questions from the beginning of the audio, going down with the audio, meaning that you can actually go down with the examiner. As they ask you a question, you keep looking down your paper, okay? Maintain a single column format. Next one, group and highlight related points. Obviously, related points will come in a particular way. Group them. You can even, as you were writing, if they're saying there are advantages to this issue. Having a lab near markets where people buy food risks the idea, or risks having animals escaping from the lab coming to the market. However, the good part of it, you can see how I've changed from the disadvantages. So disadvantages, whatever disadvantages you wrote there, circle them or put a box around them. Disadvantages, as you write them, remember that seconds I told you, put them there so that you know advantages are here, disadvantages are here. It will be easy to scan your eyes and go to what you are looking for. And then the next one, the last one actually, is quick review immediately after listening. I've mentioned this. Do not, okay, after you finish listening, do not look at the examiner, look at the notes and see what you were writing. That will give you an idea of what you have on your paper. This is what you are supposed to do, and this is what helped me. And guess what? I qualified. I got the grades I needed for teacher registration. You can do it, and I know you will do it, because you and I are going to work together as you pass and get the right word, the right score for your teacher registration. Thank you so much. Now, before you go, please subscribe if you haven't. If you do so, you're going to help me and you're going to help the algorithm. And if you can, please leave a comment on my video and just let me know what you think, but not a negative one, okay? Not a negative comment. Put a positive comment. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.